Hi everyone, Boker Tov, and welcome back, Raphael, Shalama, and good to see you back, Baruch Hashem. So we are continuing in the Halachot of Pesach, Taf Ayin Zayin, the start of the laws of Afikoman. So the Shulchan Aruch says after the Seudah, obviously before Birkat HaMazon, we take from the matzah that was hidden under the tablecloth, which is the general Sephardic custom as the Shulchan Aruch says, and every person should have a kazait from that. Now, we mentioned before that sometimes, if you have more than two people, there's probably not enough kazaits there. So you take a piece of the afikoman, everyone gets a small piece of the afikoman, and from the matzah box, you get the supplement to get you a kazait. And Zecher the Pesach, Hanenechal Asova, Zecher, a remembrance of the Korban Pesach, you eat it leaning to the left, with no other bracha besides for saying the Zecher, and Yizahir Le'ochlo Kodem Chatzot, and to be careful to eat it before midnight. That's why we always put the time of midnight in the bulletin, which I think this year is 1:19 a.m., to make sure to have it beforehand, because the Korban Pesach back in the day was eaten by Chatzot. And the Ramah adds to try to finish the Hallel also before Chatzot. Okay, that's the Ramah adds in that point. Now, the Mishnah Brura adds that if one can, ideally to have two kezitim, and this is how we try to rule, to have two kazites of matzah instead of the one. The Shulchan Aruch does say one, and that's what one needs to fulfill the mitzvah of Afikoman. But the reason why he says two is because the Korban Pesach was not eaten alone. The meat was not eaten alone. It was eaten with matzah. So now if we're doing something Zecher the Korban Pesach, you want to have the matzah, which is Zecher the Korban Pesach, and the Korban Pesach needed matzah to eat eaten with it. So I have a double matzah to properly fulfill the Zecher. So ideally two kazait, and if not, then one kazait, and you still fulfill the mitzvah. Now, we say Hanechal Asova, that it's eaten on a full stomach, right? So it's you got to leave a little bit of room to have ta'ava lechol k'tzat, to have a little bit of room to eat when you're eating the afikoman. It should not be, God forbid, what's called achila gasa. Achila gasa is you're totally stuffed, and now I want to eat on top of that. It's it's not even called an achila, and it could put your eating of afikoman in question. So you need to have at least a little bit of room to eat and will and want to eat. And if you see that, then shorten your meal a little bit, or don't eat as much as at the meal, and make sure to have room for the afikoman. And the last part I want to mention here is a beautiful Mishnah Brura that he quotes from the Shlach Kadosh, that he says as follows, that we know that we said this is Zecher, remembrance for the Korban Pesach. So he says as follows, Katav Shla, the Shlach Kadosh, which was one of the Ashkenazi great rabbis, I forget his first name, but Rabbi Horowitz was his last name. He's buried in Tveria, right beside the Rambam, and he has the famous prayer that we often advertise to say on Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan for praying for your children, etc. Lived about 300 years ago. Shlach Kadosh says as follows: Ra'iti mi b'nei aliyah. I saw people that were like growing people, great people. Shayu minashkim hamatzot v'maror. They would kiss the matzah and kiss the maror. V'chen sukkah, so to the sukkah, they would kiss the sukkah, b'knisato b'yitziato, when they would enter the sukkah, and they would leave the sukkah. V'chen arba'am minim sheba'lulav, so to the lulav, they would kiss. V'akol lechivuv ha'mitzvot, to show their love for the mitzvot. V'ashrei mi she'oved Hashem b'simcha, and praiseworthy is the person that serves Hashem with happiness. Unbelievable. So this is not, I saw once a person take the challah, and he kissed the challah on Shabbat. It's a beautiful thing. That we want to show Hashem that we love His Mitzvot as an expression of kissing is something that we love. It's certainly not an obligation. It's just a beautiful thing here. The Mishnah Berurah brings this unbelievable concept. And we always serve Hashem, b'simcha b'shvat Hashem. So a few announcements. So we have Mincha tonight at 6:15. Today, as advertised in the bulletin, is the last days as far as citywide Geniza collection. So 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Sharei Shamayim parking lot. If anyone has old books or old things that they've been, old holy books that they want to bury. So that's going to be taken care of there. Tomorrow is Tanit Bechorot. So we'll have here Dr. Shaheen making a siyum tomorrow morning after Tefillah for the Bechorim to come out. Tomorrow night is Bedikat Chametz. Don't forget to sell your chametz. We have the chametz papers here. If anyone needs charoset, we have charoset here for you. And I'll just announce it now, but we'll talk about it later. I want to ensure that we have 10 people for sure. We will, but just to make sure that everyone commits for Shabbat morning, 7 a.m. for the minyan, to make sure that they're here for 7, so we could start on time and end quick, so we could do the meal on time and everything. Okay, mincha at 6:15. Have a good day, everyone. Tana de